Hi there, and today we are doing a very quick fire assessment of a property in Owlwood Drive, 55 Owlwood Drive. Now we're doing a slight experiment because we got to chop through these. We're getting more and more of these assessments to do, and as much as it's great to kind of wrap up a load of extras into the content, when you got them stacking up as we do, we got to be quick. So anyway, with all that in mind, I'm going to jump into it and explain the situation with this. So one of the other things we're doing much more, and credit to Martin for reminding me and kind of insisting, is speak to the agent before we do the assessment, because that way we can get our bearings on everything. Now, the situation with this property is that they plan on closing the sale tomorrow. They've already got a few offers in. She was very unspecific as to how many offers, how many viewings, and so on. But I would imagine it's the usual. She's had 3 block viewings, so probably 30 offers. I mean, so 30 viewings, probably like 6 or 8 offers, something like that. But the catch with this property is twofold. One is that the vendor suffered from a previous sale falling through. So this property had an accepted offer back last year in August, and then the vendor found a new property to live in and now has to sell up quickly to move into the new property. The person who agreed to buy this property way back last year bailed on them, essentially, which was interesting. Their circumstances changed, etc., etc. Of course, they walked away from a load of capital gain, I expect. But taking that aside, the vendor is now scrambling to sell the property to the most proceedable buyer. So therefore, if one is offering with finance and one is a foreign national and all of that, then finance, foreign national, it just doesn't, and buy to let, it just doesn't really stack up very well. And therefore the odds are against you as a buyer if you are in those circumstances. So that's that. Now, in the meantime, what I'm going to do is just rattle through this, and we'll go through the Viewer stuff. But what I'm saying is, unless this is a cash offer, then it's probably not worth offering. And we don't know what the numbers look like yet, so we need to just do all that. Anyway, it's in reasonable condition according to the estate agency stuff. There's no real issue here. It's probably 1950s, I would have thought, something like that.
This is an extra
50s,
house.
60s. Yeah.
And I don't know the exact number, but basically all then it was between 50, 66, all,
yeah,
or maybe 30, 50s. But I think after a Second World War.
So it's had an extensive renovation. It's got the decking, as you see. It's all very nice.
It's purchased by the government. It was ex-social house. And all this neighborhood is ex-social house, but a lot of new builds around, a lot of improving in the area. So I like this area, for example.
Yeah, it's been extensively modernized. And I'll just open this up. So this is the feedback images from the viewer guy or girl, and here we are. So that's a nice conservatory, nice, full of junk. Oh, that's a bedroom full of junk, I suppose. Those carpets look good. Everything looks tidy here. Conservatories are very nice, except they get too hot in summer, too cold in winter. Carpets are in excellent condition. That's good. It's very tidy, this place. And that's probably why it has a lot of attention. Nice board. If you're redoing the wiring, you'd have to have a metal one, but that's perfectly fine for buy-to-let. Yeah. This is obviously original, or very old, this textured stuff. But if you go down that road and you start stripping it out, it all gets quite expensive and annoying, and therefore you just leave it in. Yeah. Now, the compromise with this property is also the benefit. That sounds like a riddle. The compromise is that you got a loft room, and as an investor, you're competing against owner-occupiers who would love this because it's usable. But for a landlord, you can't really maximize the value of the property with this. If that was usable, a third bedroom, and you're getting the property cheap, well, great, you can jack up the rent a lot, but it just becomes another space, as it were, and therefore it doesn't have the same value to you as an investor as it would to an owner occupier. And so we have this interesting scenario where if you're a UK buyer, owner occupier buyer, and your loan to value is reasonably sensible, like reasonably low, then it works because you can get the mortgage processed pretty quickly. Foreign national, not so easy. So there's that backyard, the decking. I assume the decking's okay. I assume the decking is like 10 years old or something. It needs a good clean, and also it needs oiling, by the way. The thing with this decking is if you don't oil the decking regularly, it's just going to rot. All those walls look fine. Those stepped cracks, nothing like that. It all look. Oh, there's a stepped crack down there. Okay, that's not that serious, but it's a surveyor would pick up on that and go, you got a stepped crack there, mate, and do something about it. That's a nice backyard. It's nicely done. And on the front, fascia boards, roof, all of that looks decent.
Yep.
And I suspect it's 1950s. I don't see any damp proofing, and I think I see what looks like a damp proof course down there. I would say that that's your damp proof course down there. All right, so it's newer than older. Generally, I like these kind of properties because they're designed, modern enough so that they're actually reasonably.
Yeah, the neighborhood is okay, good cars. This area is improving a lot, so it's a little bit not far away, but it has good connection to Manchester. So yeah, nice. Look the cars.
It's a good point.
I think we don't need to check anything a lot. This is the loft room.
Yeah, I just want to see how you get into the loft.
No, this is not the loft.
Yeah, but I don't understand how you get into the loft.
Here it is on the left side. On the left side. So the stairs.
I hope the viewer.
Yeah, he will. Can you just go fast over it?
Sure thing.
Yeah, because there is nothing major issue with the property.
It's the access to the loft that is the critical question here. I think there must. Come on, walk into the loft. Okay, we've got that little WC. And okay, that's interesting how they split the WC from the bathroom.
Yeah, even better.
Yeah, it is better actually, yeah.
And everything looks.
I don't know what's going on here. We've got this odd setup. I think. I don't. Oh, I see. Right. Oh, I've got it.
Me too.
That's your staircase. That's the boxing for the staircase. Got it. Okay, so they have to eat into that bedroom to get there. All right, and there it is. Interesting. So it's got the door.
Oh, this is the.
This is a good. This is well done.
Sorry, you won't leave the parcel from Amazon unless it's got some security code.
Okay, I have to go. Martin, could you do your thing? And I'll be back. Okay.
So basically, this is the location. So location is like, I think it's really, really nice. It's like in the end of the, but for this price range and this kind of stuff, it's really good. First, like you can see, you have new builds here. All this like a gray roof, there are new builds. And you have like a small green space around, and you have big green space around as well. You're not that far away from the markets and so on. So if you want to go to Manchester, it's a little bit far away, but usually with a car, if you want to go with a car, it's 36 minutes. But if you go on transport, it's like 40 minutes. It's a far away, but not that much. So yeah, it's still good in my point of view. Like everything up to 45 minutes in Manchester is really good. So the location here, yes, a lot of ex-social houses around. It still has social houses, but a lot of ex. So like all the houses who have extension, who have like solar roof panel or so, they are ex, and the other are still social houses. For example, these here houses and this house are still social houses, and a lot of them are like X. So basically, what you can, when you click, you can see that these houses are social house. Some of them are social houses. It's a mixture, but this area is like really improving. So yeah. So because also Manchester is really really hot and so on. On this location, you have nice value, nice houses, nice stock of houses which are good and they're cheaper. So I think it's safe investment from that point of view. And also it's close to school. You have also a really big park here, so it's like nice location for this price range. It's really good. And about there is no, I cannot see the year of build, but I think it's between 30s and 66. I think it's after the Second World War. And the EPC is D, but the EPC is last year made. So, and what they said that what you need to improve, it's the room, basically the loft insulation. They said like 3,000 maybe will cost, and you can be C. So basically that's the issue why it's not C. But you can put insulation and you can be C. And about the risk, about it's low risk, very low risk for rivers and the sea and surface water. So basically, you're safe about that. And the coal mining, the property is based here, and the coal mining is too far away, so where you will have risks. And when you check the development high risk area, but this is not any issues, but just to, if you want to know, it's in the edge on the street. So even if you're in high development high risk area, there is no issue with the mortgage or so. So basically, but almost all Little Hulton, all the properties have this high risk develop area, and they're good to go. They're good to buy. The issue is if you are only close to the entrance, and you need to be not close more than 20 meters. So, but this is a lot far away, so there is no risk. And about the comparables for renting, it will be 800, maybe even more for the rent because the conditions are really nice. It can go up to 900, but let's say 800, 850, it will be the rent. And for the comparables for the selling, in this area, it doesn't, because of the social house, so on, it doesn't have a lot of selling. I will show you. So as you can see, I will go newest. So you have end of terrace 150. This is a new build. This is not comparable. 140 end of terrace 160. This is like similar property to us, but the conditions are not the same. It's nice, but also I can see this is our property. This is also semi-detached, but usually semi-detached are a little bit expensive. So, but the new builds are selling really more expensive. So I will try to find really similar property. 135, but not the best condition. Not same type of property. 135. Okay, I will go for here. This is more because we can check. This is 170 sell. This is 135. This is asking 165, but this is the same property. This is transaction 90, but this is X. Okay, so this is example 170 for this property, but this is semi-detached. And this is no, this was the selling price 170, the asking price, and for this is 135, but you can see the condition are really terrible. It's in 40K maybe to renovate. So I will try to find really similar property and find a transaction. Okay. Because there is, as I said, there is not a lot of selling in the 140. and this is 143. So you can see similar type of property, but that doesn't have photos, so I cannot judge. But I guess, and plus it's one year old, and this doesn't have photos, so I guess the asking price is correct just because of the condition, but you never know. We'll try
Right. Can I do demographics and all that capital growth stuff? So I'm going to be quick. All right.
I just want to add that this is data. What we have here is 2011, and here is a lot of improving times, and just because of the new builds and everything around.
Yeah, there's a lot of new build. So, for example, in this area here, we've got a lot of it. It's new build is such a good indicator.
But you have also, I show also on the map, we have really close by. The property is not here, it's a little bit up on the street. And near the green space, little green space, yes, under yes, there you have a new build.
Well, it's very quiet around here.
Yeah, it's really quiet. So
very quiet. There's a little something going on around here, and here, but overall, the further north you go, less good. The further south you go, better. It's typical story where crime is very localized, and it really is weird how it does that. Now this is to do with this peak here. Sorry. So what's happened here, I think, is that in this catchment, this MSOA catchment, you've got lots of new builds. So these nice shiny roofs, probably no, they're just re-roofed houses. Okay, fine, but there is some new build going on around here, I think. That's new build down here, and that's skewed the figures on the other side of the railway, and that's why you have this weird number. But overall, I would say
and a lot of social houses reselling. So
yeah, it's quite strong, this area for growth. Like it's up to the 2007 high water mark, which is interesting. And if we look at the current, the more recent, wow, at some of the highest growth I've seen in a while. 13% in a year nominal. So if you say 11%, they say officially 8%, but in reality 11%. I've adjusted my figures by around 11%. It's above the rate of inflation. Question is it overbought? And that for a local authority, say here, it's probably more representative of the kind of market. Yeah, it's slightly above 2007. Didn't crash that heavily last time around. Yeah, I think. What are they asking? 160 or something for
5. I think they're asking a lot.
They're being ambitious with it.
But I think on the rent.
But they can be ambitious because of the loft room. So that's the thing with this whole property, that it works great if you're an owner-occupier, not great if you are in the buy-to-let game, because you will never really get real value from that loft room. Also, yeah. I don't particularly like the floor layout, I've got to say. That's just me.
But I'm just saying, like, the 3-bedroom terrace house are selling from 145 to 155, but in 2021, so plus 10. Right. So that's I think I think maximum 175 what we can offer because of the condition and everything. But I think with 175 maybe we'll not have a chance to take it.
Yeah. So, okay. Renovation. Let's say £2,000, just because it needs something, and it always needs more than you think. What rent would you get for it?
800. Because it's so nice. And
yeah, I think this area is going to grow a lot over the next few years, but I think it's going to crash fairly heavy, and I think it's going to be like 12% crash, and you're still kind of up if you get in now, broadly, I think, just based on the property cycle. But the yield 5.42. I am just unconvinced with this house. I hate to say this because I think this is the second deal where I've gone, nah, that doesn't quite work this morning. One was because of a lot of flooding issues, but this one, It's a nice house. It all depends on the proportion of local authority. So how much local authority is there left?
I can show the screen, but
Thanks.
basically half of the social houses are resale, but you still have a lot. So this is like it's and I think in next 10 years it will sell everything will sell off almost. So,
I think the problem with this property, looking at the maps and everything, the demographic maps and such, is that it's just buried a little bit deep in local authority territory. And if it was on the other side, bordering the main road, which I'm pointing at here, if it was closer to this side, maybe around here, down closer to here on this side of the road, this kind of thing, nicer stock, then, or maybe around here, then I think I'd feel more confident about it. But it's just quite, it's okay. It's okay. It's not great. I just think they're ambitious for the price. But on the counter side to that is there's lots of new build going on around here because there's a bit of land, I guess, and it's a nice place to live. And there's going to be a lot more industry around here, as you see. That's all going to be developed. So I think the long story for this is it's very good. If this was 145, I would say you got yourself an interesting proposition. But the fact that you have to offer cash, not necessarily going to happen, and offer cash and offer quite high. So that's sort of why I don't think it's really that good. Okay, condition 4, location.
For this price range and this, I think it's in this little, I will 3.9. I will not get 4. It's not the best, but I still like it. I think this area will have huge capital growth in my point of view.
I agree. I think the growth is very strong. Area?
It's 3.7. Just because a lot of social house, but crime, a lot of new build as well. So crime
actually it's 3.9 because there is something going on fairly nearby. 3.8, I'm going to say. I think there's enough crime in a couple of hotspots where people will go, it's a bad area, when actually crime is very localized.
Yeah.
Demographic, it's all right. It's not bad.
But it will improve. It's improving. You can see the cars and you can see the new builds around really close. So yeah, it's good.
Capital growth, very good. This is a capital growth hotspot, but as it goes up, it might come down. So I'm going to say 4.2 for growth. Yield?
For this little Hulton is, I think now the yield is not good. Yeah, but I just want to add that this is not the best right now, but in the next 2 years the yield will be really good in this area because
I think you're right. I think it'll go up.
Yeah, the rent will go up because usually in Little Hulton, a little bit more closer to Little Hulton Central, the rent for this property is going 900. So I think this will hit until you complete, until everything will be 850 maybe. But let's say it's 4. So I don't want to give but it will work.
Score. It's just the circumstances surrounding it aren't great, and that's why I'm on a bit of a downer with it. If there was cash around, if you're prepared to offer high, then great. But as I said, from experience, the loft room, it's a good feature, but it really appeals to owner-occupiers, not landlords. It's not such a good, and we shouldn't really be offering these loft rooms really, because they kind of work, but they mess up with EPC as well, and they're just, I think, broadly more hassle than they're worth, in my humble opinion. But anyway, okay, there we go. So 3.99, there it is. What's your final comment on this, Martin?
I like the property. I like the location. There is no risk. Just that you need to pay a lot for this, and because it's collapsed last time, so maybe the owner will accept even lower offer cash than mortgage.
All right.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think they're going to be nervous, and they're going to be all about proceedability for this one. And in theory, great. In practice, circumstances just aren't quite right for this, I think. Anyway, it's not a great loss. It's a heavy, they're asking a lot of money for it. So there it is. All right, nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.